Every day, we strive to do more and be the best versions of ourselves. It's not an easy task, but success is available for each of us. Welcome to the Swag University podcast, where each week we explore insightful messages, strategies, and tips to help you level up in life. Your host, Dr. Phildra Swagger, creative strategist and mindset coach, will empower you with the tools you need to create the life and business you desire, while providing inspirational insights to the woman who wants to see her destiny manifested daily. So now, let's level up with Dr. Swag.
Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Dr. Swag. It's a wonderful day in Tampa Bay, and I am here with a guest that is prepared to blow your mind. Now, as business people, we have to take care of our finances, both personally and professionally. So today, I have an expert to talk to you about our finances, our money. How do we manage our money to grow the life that we want and enjoy the business? Or is that the other way around? Enjoy business, enjoy life and grow business and grow life. He says we can have it all. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We have empowerment consultant, Mr. Lionel Shipman.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Phildra. If you don't mind me responding by your first name.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. So I'm so happy to have you here and to introduce you to my listening audience. And guys, I want you to know that Lionel facilitates seminars and workshops on financial literacy, banking, life empowerment. That's how that all goes together, that business goal and life enrichment by managing your money, by stewarding your money to make sure that you're making decisions around sound financial principles. He shares a lot of this on his show, the Lionel Shipman Shape Up Your Finances show on the CWR Talk Network. That's Tuesday nights, right?
Yeah, Tuesday night at 8:30.
Tuesday night at 8:30, so you have to tune in. He'll give you more details at the end. But even then, beyond that, if you can't grab the show, guess what? He's already written it out for you, too. He's going to bring many of the tips that he shares in his book, Money Responsibly, which is a resource book about finances and how to look at your money mindset and assess your view on money and make money necessary. We have all kind of messages and mismessages about money, right?
Oh, yes.
It's built into us early on. So I'm going to turn this over to him because I'm still learning every day about how to better steward my dollars. So welcome.
Thank you so much for being here. I always look at it, the opportunity to be on a show with someone else that we can both benefit from it as well as the audience to benefit from it. So thank you for being here to share hopefully some great knowledge, experience, and to empower all of you that are listening in that money is not a hard thing. I know it's almost like sex. It's taboo. You don't want to talk about those things because it gets very personal. But it's something that affects our lives for the rest of our lives.
That's right.
It affects generations below us. And if we don't get a firm grip on how to manage it effectively, we won't be able to utilize it proficiently. So that's something that's been a passion of mine for years, is to teach people what I know and to continue to learn as well. I mean, I'm not above being, I'm not at that perfected state,
right,
because money and money behavior constantly changes. So it's always something to learn. But my goal is to teach what I know, be personal about it, share my mistakes with it, my successes with it, and hopefully empower you to not only do better in your life, but to pass that down to someone else as well.
Oh, fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit about that journey to really becoming the money empowerment expert that you are.
Well, it goes back when I was in college. I graduated from Troy University, so I'm originally from Alabama. All the Crimson Tide fans out there, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
But I graduated from college and I moved down to Florida. And when I graduated college, I had 6 credit cards, all that had balances on them. I went down to the rec center and I took the T-shirt that was given to me and all the other free prizes just to fill out an application and sign up for a credit card. And didn't really realize that it wasn't free money. I had to pay this money back because it was a shocker because I'm so used to my parents, paying my bills. But all of a sudden, I get a statement in the mail that says Lionel Shipman due to. I'm like, what? And the balance that I had accrued over the years. So when I moved down here, 6 credit cards, I said, okay, I got to do something. And I had an advantage over a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I got a banking position. So I learned a lot from the banking world. And through some of those things that I learned through the banking world, I was able to pay down those credit cards. And I had to learn how to utilize credit thereafter. So I spent some time reading, following a lot of people, money experts, and then just applying some simple principles to my own life. Budgeting being one of those things. Managing any type of debt or any type of potential debt that I want to take up on. Looking at my financial goals in life, what I want to do later in life. So I had to look at all this from my life standpoint, seeing that I moved down here all by myself. And so that's how I got started into the money management and in developing that passion to teach it to other people as well.
Well, you just highlighted 3 great principles: the budget, the money management, and financial goals. How do you help your clients bring that's a continuum really, together and their mindset around a continuum like that?
Yeah, what I try to do is pretty much have a good conversation, good 15 to 30-minute, I call it consult, sit down and get to know the people that are calling on me to help them. So I asked them a couple of questions, one of which is, are you currently budgeting? Mm-hmm. And I love the response that I get from, I say 90% of the people would tell me instantly, yes, I budget. I said, well, can you give me a copy of your budget? No, I don't have it written out. It's in my head. I know how much I'm spending. And a lot of times we don't. Mm-hmm. We have never really truly accounted for all of our spending on a month-by-month basis. Mm-hmm. So we talk about budgeting. I said, okay, well, what are your financial goals? What are your financial plans? Well, I just want to just pay off my house and pay off my car. And I know for sure a lot of us aspire more than just paying off our home and paying off our car. For sure. Yeah, so we go through a scenario of talking about what are their true goals going forward, be it short-term and intermediate goals as well as long-term goals. And then I ask this question here, are you willing to change through this process? Of course, they have no idea what I mean when I say that. And I always say, well, going through this process, I'm going to challenge you. You're not going to always like what I have to say. You're not always going to like what I'm going to ask or suggest that you do. But I can almost assure you, if you follow these principles, follow these guidelines, your life will turn out much better from a financial perspective. Mm-hmm. And that's my goal, is to increase or either improve a person's financial outlook going forward.
Mm. So what are some of the challenges, in addition to failing to budget, your clients face? What are some of the challenges your clients face before working with you?
I would say the change aspect. Mm-hmm. If you are rooted and grounded in a life of irresponsibility, you're spending like you want to, that's one huge challenge is as a financial educator, is getting you to change your ways.
And that includes the Starbucks syndrome?
Oh, yes. Starbucks.
I'm guilty.
Starbucks. Oh, no, I'm about to say something.
I'm guilty. I probably should have stock in Starbucks, okay?
Hey, well, let me tell you this. When I tell people about getting an emergency fund, emergency fund is basically 4 to 6 months of expenses all in an account. Right. When I usually tell people about getting an emergency fund or creating an emergency fund, I always tell this to my ladies, and this is for the majority of the ladies that are out there, especially for the ones that I know that love to shop. Mm-hmm. Shoes are not an emergency. The dress, that's not an emergency. For all my brothers out there, I'll say 90% of the brothers that I know and have worked with, electronic products is not an emergency. Large screen television is not an emergency. So it's to really get them to look at life for themselves. Are those things that vitally important? Were you willing to put those things before your financial future? And I found that a number of people do it often. We put our wants above our needs. Now, that's not to say, I always tell people, I'm not a dream killer.
Right.
I want you to have what you have. I want you to have the best home, the best car, travel the best way that you can. But when you are doing it at your financial detriment, when you're spending irresponsibly, that's the problem. I hate to get a little graphic, but I love to use this this analogy. Whenever we use a credit card, for instance, which I'm fine with people using credit cards. Now, everybody shouldn't be using credit card because they can't be responsible with it. But when you use a credit card on a month-by-month basis and you're not paying off the balance each month, meaning by the billing cycle, you're actually financing that particular item. It's just like having a loan. Now, the graphic part is we go out a whole lot to eat and do entertainment and all. So when you go to Carrabba's or to Olive Garden and to Joe's Crab House or wherever you like to go to dine, and if you're not paying off that bill by the end of the billing cycle, what happens with that food that we have consumed? So in the end, when it goes past the billing cycle, we're financing poop.
Oh, my goodness.
Hate to be graphic, but you look at it.
Right.
If you don't pay your balances off by the end of the month, you're financing that particular item. Yeah. So those are some of the things that I highlight to clients. That is a huge challenge for them to try to change their mindset to kind of get them to see things in a different light going forward.
That's very enlightening, because so often we don't have that visual, and I don't really believe that people, and I don't want to generalize, but so often we don't take the time to really distinguish a need from a want, right?
True.
And so when we think that all of this makes our life what it is, it's more difficult to slice away, narrow down what it is that we really need. So you end up, as you say, financing poop. And poop does not have a return.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
No return.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you give your clients that type of illustration and these types of insights and strategies, what have you learned in their application, their process? Are they willing, or do they begin to see the change, make the change?
Some do. It takes time. It's a process. Anyone knows that if you're in something for so long and now you're having to change the way you do things, it's a mindset shift, but it takes time before that behavior manifests. You can change your mind, but sometimes our behavior needs to change, and that's where the time goes in.
Right.
And if you're going over this repetitively, meaning you're being reminded to be what I call money conscious, you think about how much money you're going to spend on a particular item. I did a posting dealing with money consciousness. Basically, you're thinking about or have a range of questions that you run through your mind before you actually finalize any purchase.
Right.
Even though it may be a need or a want, you're questioning it. So that's one of the things that I try to help people to look at. I'm not saying that you cannot have those things, but question why you need it. Is it a need or is it a want? Most needs, yes, food. We need food. We need food to eat. But we may not need a T-bone steak. T-bone steak is going to cost you a lot more than cube steak. They're both steak. They both provide protein and provide a great enhancement to our meals. But you cannot always eat a T-bone steak. There are times when you can eat T-bone steak. I'm not saying that you can't. But it's just things like that that is a challenge with clients to get them to start to look at.
Right.
We talked about Starbucks coffee. Starbucks coffee average about $5 a cup. And a lot of people like to get it every morning going to work. 5 times 5, that's $25 a week on just a cup of coffee.
$100 a month.
Yes. Well, how about making your own coffee at home?
Right.
You can have as much as you want. You can get all the soy milk and everything that you can buy from the grocery store and start making it yourself, and you save money that way. Instead of going out to eat for lunch every day, which is costing you $7 to $10 a pop, why don't you buy enough groceries and start making your lunch from home? And this is something that I do myself. I would be a hypocrite to tell you to do something that I don't do or be willing to do.
Right.
I bring my lunch roughly 4 times a week to work. I make it at home and bring it in. So I save some money for myself. So just things like that to make us a lot more money conscious. You know, when you're buying a car, buying a home, do your research. Don't ever buy anything on the spot. I don't care how good the deal is. Always have some consideration and let these questions go through your mind. Can I afford it? How I'm going to pay for it? Do I have enough money to do it? Will it blow up my budget?
Right.
Always want to consider those things.
Well, you know, you introduce a new framework, a new some terminology, money conscious. And I want us to walk away from this conversation with our listeners much more money conscious. But I think we have so many subconscious money messages that we haven't explored. I mean, you grow up, and I grew up with humble beginnings, and so I learned money don't grow on trees.
Yes.
Right? And messages like that are in your mind, and those, I think, feed limiting beliefs. So how can I go from money doesn't grow on trees, money hard to come by, there's not enough money for that? How do I move from subconscious messages that I may not even be aware I'm operating in or under, I should say, because that's oppression. Right. How do I move from that subconsciousness to a money consciousness where I can be more of a steward of my financial picture and build a better financial picture?
Okay. I would say do an assessment of yourself. See where you actually acquired your mindset regarding money. Last year on my show, I asked a lot of my guests, tell me your money story. Tell me how you develop your mindset or your behavior regarding money. It comes from basically 3 particular areas. Your parents help shape your view and your behavior regarding money. You have your close associates, people that you're around. They have an influence. And then society or the business world at large. All those things, or a combination of those things, or one thing in particular, affected how we view and how we behave with money. So once you do an assessment to see where your money mindset, your money attitude, your money behavior stem from, then you can start to make some changes or make some adjustments thereafter. Education is very important. I encourage people to read often. Go to workshops, go to seminars to learn about money and finance. It doesn't come by osmosis.
Right.
It doesn't come by listen to your uncle who has nothing regarding money skills, but he's telling you how to operate your money. Now, he's barely making it, but he's telling you how to operate your money. So when you begin to surround yourself with people of like mind, you're educating yourself, reading books, going to seminars, you begin to challenge those things that you grew up with. Once you begin to challenge yourself with those things, you have to say, okay, is this right? Is this good? Is this healthy? Because you're going to have some good examples of how people have done these things. And once the stage has already been set, it's easy to adjust to that. Now, we are still influenced. We are influenced every day by mass media, social media, newspaper, radio, to buy, to spend, to spend. Like I said, nothing wrong with spending. There's nothing wrong with buying. But we have to look at, can I afford it? Is it a need or a want? And then you can always make adjustments because some things you may have to delay it. That doesn't mean that you can't have it.
Right.
It may be delayed by 6 months or to a year. So once we begin to think about all those things, that's part of being money conscious. You're actually evaluating the consequences or the benefits of spending money. That's basically what money consciousness is. You just go through a range of questions that you ask yourself before you do any type of spending. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to do the actual purchase, but you're thinking about it.
Right. Yeah, and money mindset. And, I like to think about scripture too. You learn to be the lender and not to borrow.
Oh, do not be a slave to debt. Yes, God. Yeah, and if people would really look at that, it's blessed to give than to receive. Mm-hmm. I challenge people with that sometimes. Blessed to give than receive. Well, the giver has something to give. I know a lot of times we've been taught to always have our hand out to receive. The person that's given is more blessed than that one that is receiving. Because as you continue to give, God can bless you with more to give. Mm-hmm. He honors that. Mm-hmm. Give and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. That means you're given to your bosom. So as I continue to give, people will actually give unto me. God will make a way to where people will plant seeds, plant things in my life, resources, where I am able to continue to do that giving. Mm-hmm. But a lot of time we have been inundated with receiving. Mm-hmm. All for me, all for me. And once you change that mindset, you can see that you can be blessed in the area of money management. So.
Yeah, you can welcome the abundance in.
Absolutely.
And give from your abundance, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do you have a favorite scripture around money? You just kind of visited one. Do you have a favorite scripture?
I would say probably my favorite scripture would be Psalms 84:11. Mm-hmm. The Lord God is a sun and shield. Mm-hmm. He gives grace and glory. No good thing will he withhold from those who walk uprightly. So it talks about God in the beginning, the sun and the glory. Then it talks about his provision. Mm-hmm. He gives grace and glory. Then it talks about me as a person. If I walk upright, God promised that he will not withhold any good thing. Now, he qualified that. He said any good thing, not just anything, any good thing. So here it is, our Father wants us to have good things, but he wants us to be upright. So there's always a condition attached to that. So that, to me, that's one of the best scriptures for me because it shines a light on who God is. It shines a light on his provision, but it also shines a light on what I can have in him because there's always condition. Mm-hmm. He's not going to just bless you just to be blessing you. There's always a condition there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. And I even hear that in the uprightness, that's if you apply it to money, coming into your money consciousness, because again, I do think so many of us have a subconscious negative relationship with money, and I will tell you my story. And that is, as I said, I grew up with humble beginnings and my message was to work hard, make more money, make as much money as possible, and then I wouldn't have to worry about lack. Right. But that did not necessarily teach me about the responsibility of managing and stewarding what came in. I had to actually, as you say, learn that, educate myself on how to do something different because my financial picture is what legacy do I want to leave for my children? Right. What jumpstart in life do I want to be able to give my children? Right. I was given the message of do better, have more. Well, I want them to have more so they can do better. Right. Just kind of flip that. Mm-hmm. But the word really does, I think, lay out a whole plan for money management and how money can forward the kingdom. And as we as business owners, entrepreneurs, use our money that aligns with biblical principles, financial uprightness, money consciousness, then all of that will come back to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. So tell us a little bit about the principles in your book, the Money Responsibly, and how that can benefit my listeners in terms of your 3-step strategy. Okay.
My book, Money Responsibly, this is a format that I use whenever I do seminars or workshops. Mm-hmm. I deal with the attitude or the perception of money. That's in, I forget what chapter now, but I think it's like 6 chapters in the book that I cover on. But the main topics out of the book, Money Responsibly, it starts off with shaping your attitude. Mm-hmm. That's where we look at an assessment to see where our money mindset was actually shaped like I said, from your parents, those that are close associated with you, or your society. Mm-hmm. Then it goes into the practical things that we can do. The budgeting aspect. A lot of us think that budgeting should be a one-time thing. Budgeting should be something that we do for the rest of our lives. Mm-hmm. And budgeting is not a negative thing. It tells us what we can do with our money.
Right.
We control our budget. We control our money. It doesn't restrict us. It tells us what we can do with our money. So when you learn to change our mindset regarding budgeting, because it's been always looked at from a negative standpoint, all the companies in the world operate using a budget. Surely those successful companies operating with a budget, proof is in the pudding, it works. Mm-hmm. Then I go into the debt management aspect, teaching you how to look at debt, teaching you about debt. I have a particular section in there that talks about credit card, because credit card debt, that's one of the biggest debt that a lot of people have in their lives. You know, a quick story. I had one lady that I worked with. She had acquired about $25,000 in credit card debt, paid it down, only to charge it back up again.
So no shift in the mindset?
No shift in the mindset. You know, part of her problem was?
What was that?
Wants. Mm-hmm. She wanted it regardless of whatever it cost. I'm going to get the best. I'm going to buy the best for my kids if I have to go in debt to do it. So sometimes, some people, I can't help.
Right.
So hopefully this book will kind of heighten people when it comes to that. Mm. And the last piece is the credit aspect. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that holds us back is the ability to borrow money. And most institutions use credit scoring as a mechanism to get your loan or your credit card approved. I know in particular, most people have a problem with credit. It's available money, but it comes with a cost. And a lot of time, because we get in trouble with it, we don't really understand how to utilize it.
Right.
Once you learn how to utilize it to your benefit, then you can be a lot more productive and proficient with it. So I take you through a scenario of teaching you about credit, pulling your credit report, reading it, being able to correct those problems. I actually give some what I call pitfalls to be aware of when it comes to debt as well as credit. Mm-hmm. And I also give some money-saving tips. To me, money-saving tip is one of the biggest pieces there in the book. If we follow through some of those money tips, you'll save hundreds of dollars a month going forward, if not thousands of dollars going forward. It's some practical things that we should be doing, but we are not doing.
What's a simple example of one or two?
A simple example would be annually or either biannually, we should review our insurance policies, car insurance, home insurance policy. A lot of time we stick with an insurance company because our parents had that insurance company. So when we became adults, we stuck with that same insurance company. Mm-hmm. And we never considered looking at shopping it compared to other insurance companies that are out there. For instance, my wife and I, we just switched over to a new insurance company and saved $1,500 a year.
Wow. That's significant.
Yes. And we were loyal to the previous insurance company, but we said, okay, we have to do what's in our best interest from a financial standpoint. So we did a price comparison. Actually, we got lower premiums and better benefit.
Wow.
So just simple things that we can do, but we don't think about doing.
Right.
So some of those money-saving tips such as that are in the book as well. So
again, that's very significant, and it also goes back to that mindset of this is the way that I've always done it. This is the way that those people that I trust, parents, friends, society, have done. Yeah. And so that's the practice.
Yeah. So, and then at the end is a glossary sharing some financial terms so we can get an understanding of some of the different money terms that are used in the world. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's I tell people when it comes to my book or any other financial book, everything in it may not apply to you, but the principles can apply to every one of us. Mm-hmm. The principles of saving money, the principles of investing money, the principle of giving, the principle of utilizing what you have, being able to grow that, to increase it, looking for and creating streams of income. Don't just rely on just your job to be your means of income. go out and buy real estate. If real estate investment is a good option, do it. Investing into the stock market, investing in stocks, mutual funds. All these are different avenues to increase our financial well-being, to improve our financial outlook, to make us more valuable, creating that worth, creating that net worth, that equity that we need to go forward. So our lives can be a lot better. So then at that point, you're able to travel. You're able to do these things that you want to do. And then most importantly, being able to pass down that knowledge, that wisdom to the next generation, in addition to passing down the physical money down to them as well. Yeah.
Great. So, what was the most important thing, the most important money lesson you've learned in your life or your business? And what did your life or your business look like before you learned that? I guess your pivotal moment in this process that the listeners can glean from.
I would say just be willing to learn. Don't think that you have it all. Be willing to be taught. Be humble with it. Seek out help. I've been in the banking and the financial industry over 20 years, and I still don't know it all. I have financial people that I rely on, that I go to. So I think it's important to have a great resource to go along with your journey. And a lot of people don't do that on the front end. And if you learn to do that on the front end, even during the process and afterwards, it makes your life totally better.
Right. You know, I think a lot of people, talking about advice and tips in the banking industry, a lot of people are intimidated by the process of even thinking about budgeting. And my bank, I happen to bank with a credit union, has a budgeting tool. And I can, as I make purchases, as I review my account, I can assign it to whatever category. How can people who are intimidated get started? Is that a right approach, or what's a starting point?
Starting point, call me.
Tell them where to reach you, Lionel. Tell them where to reach you. Pick up the book, too, when you call him.
Exactly. I would say at least speak to someone who is financially knowledgeable, not just myself, but seeing that I'm here, call me. Go to my website.
And that website address is what?
ShipmanConsulting.com. That's ShipmanConsulting.com.
Okay.
Be the best way to reach me directly. But look to someone such as myself. I love being able to talk to people. I'm not the kind that's going to beat you up based upon the mistakes that you made. I have an amount of compassion because had you known what you needed, you wouldn't be here asking.
Right.
You wouldn't have a problem.
Right.
But once you know that I think I may have a problem, or I want to make sure that I do something even better than what I'm doing now. So being able to kind of get someone from the outside to look at your financial situation and say, hey, here's some recommendations to making your life and your financial outlook better than what it is right now. So speaking to someone who's competent is very key. Like I said, read, learn, and apply.
What's the best piece of financial advice you ever received?
Best advice I've ever received. I would say this is coming from my father. He told me this a long time ago. I didn't understand it when he said it, but I understand it now. Don't live a champagne life on a beer budget. I had no earthly idea what he was talking about. I'm like, what are you talking about? Champagne life on a beer budget? When I got older and I understood that, champagne cost. Beer is far less costly than champagne. So take, for instance, if my income affords me a Ford to drive, I can't go out and go buy a Mercedes-Benz. I'm going to be upside down. I'm going to be living in an apartment. Not knocking the people that drive a Mercedes-Benz living in an apartment. Just get the
visual, right?
The visual, what I'm talking about. You barely making it, but you want to get this car. That is not being financially responsible. As a matter of fact, it puts you in a state of living paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. One hiccup, and you're probably filing for bankruptcy. So why put yourself in a position like that? So learn to crawl, learn to walk, learn to run when it comes to financial management.
Well, that is a perfect place to close this conversation. I hope you guys gathered that kernel. Learn to crawl, learn to walk, learn to run towards your abundance.
Yes.
I'm going to add that. Okay?
Yes.
Towards your abundance, because it is there for you. There is enough money in the richest country in the world and all around the globe for us to have the life that we dream of and the businesses that we want.
Absolutely.
And so to get more insight on how to manage your money before your money manages you, reach out to Lionel Shipman, Lionel Shipman Consulting. And you can find them on the website at shipmanconsulting.com. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can pick up his book, Money Responsibly, to learn the tips that he's discussed today. So I want to thank you, Lionel, for being here.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. And so, guys, remember, take care of your money. Manage your money before your money manages you. As always, it's your girl, Dr. Swag. I love you. And stay blessed to be a blessing.
Glad you joined our conversation. For more Swag University episodes, subscribe on iTunes and help us level up by leaving a 5-star review. For more information and free resources, visit our website at swaguniversity.com with 2 G's. That's SWAGG University.com. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to keep the conversation going. Until next time, we hope this episode has inspired you to manifest your destiny and level up today.